everyone. Hello staff and students at Wiltshire College, and hello team. This is Chef Mel from Chef Mel's Kitchen. A little bit different from some of the other videos you might have seen, with a slightly more glamorous and larger kitchen, but that's my parents' kitchen. But today, and hopefully this is going to be a series as well, I'm going to be showing you a recipe, nice little recipe video, and that's going to be about store cupboard cookery, or at least cooking with items that you can get from your freezer, from your fridge, long shelf life stuff, and from your cupboards. So mostly long shelf life products with a few little fresh bits thrown here and there. Mainly the reason why I wanted to do this is for a nice learning sort of resource for my students, but also because a lot of my students and a lot of staff as well are currently not just self-isolating, because we all are, aren't we? But some of them are in quarantine as well, you know, because they're staying at home, so they've got lots of food items like long shelf life stuff, and they're just not sure what to make with them. So I thought I'd make a collection of COVID cookery videos. That's a bit of incorporating English into my lesson as well, because what's that, when you've got two words with the same letter at the beginning, what's that called? That's right, alliteration. Well done, students. So, also thinking about British values in my lesson as well, in my video, because I think as British people we're struggling with a lot of what's going on at the moment, but what's really brilliant, just like we were in the war, which is sort of what this has been compared to, it's sort of this make do and mend, and just be positive and chirpy and just sort of make do with what you've got, which is kind of in connection with what this recipe video is around. Most of the recipes will be cheap as well. Thankfully I've got my glamorous assistant, my husband, helping me film this, so thank you Mr. Mackey. Paul and Debbie, eat your heart out. And I'm going to show you a little bit of prep. Well, first actually I'll go through all the ingredients we'll be working with today. So start off quite simple. So the main ingredients that are like the store cupboard freezer stuff, I'll start with that because that's the core, and then there's a few optional extras. So in terms of the fresh, we've got onion, red onion. There's my cat coming in. We've got red onion, we've got 2 cloves of garlic. But generally, if you buy a head of garlic, it will usually be fine in the store cupboards for a week, 2 weeks, something like that. Yes, puss. We've got our fresh ingredients. We've got a little bit of bacon, which has been cut into lardons, which my students will know in little pieces. I think it's about 3 rashers there. We've got a biryani. Now, biryani, B-I-R-Y-A-N-I, biryani, is an Indian dish usually with rice, but we're going to use it in this curry mix. If you don't have this spice mix, it's mostly, I seem to remember, yeah, it's mostly ground coriander and ground cumin, so just use a tablespoon each of this instead. I'll put the recipe with all the amounts and the instructions in the instruction bit of the video as well, so you'll be able to see that as well. I've got a handful of fresh coriander. Now again, if you're doing just from fridges and freezers and cupboards, you can actually get frozen herbs, like chopped frozen herbs. I've seen them in Waitrose, but I think you can get them in other places as well. Tin of chopped tomatoes, really nice store cupboard staple. I've got a bit of curry paste, which until you open it is a long shelf life product, and I think once you've opened it you're supposed to use it within a couple of weeks, but I'm going to add a tablespoon of this, but if not you can use curry powder, that's fine. I've got about 1/3 of a swede. Now swede, which is short for Swedish turnip, a lot of people don't know that. I think the Scottish call them neeps, don't they? It's neeps and tatties, and the Americans call them rutabaga as well. So you ever see rutabaga on a recipe, that's what it is basically, which I'm going to peel and finely dice. So that's the fresh, but you can use tinned carrots or something like that instead. I've got a tin of British mixed vegetables in water, which is a mixture of peas and carrots and potatoes, and I think swede as well, which I'm going to drain and rinse. And this is the main bit, which is, these are, of course you don't have to use Tesco, other brands are available, but these are 8 beef burgers that I got from the frozen section of Tesco, so again long shelf life, and all I've done is defrost them, and I'm going to be crumbling them up, and that's going to make what we're going to make today, which is a beef curry. It's like a beef mince, a long shelf life beef mince curry, which I'm going to serve with rice as well. Now it's cheaper to buy the packs of dried rice and, you know, kilo of just long grain rice, but when I went shopping for this a couple of weeks ago, there was like no rice, there was like no pasta, no rice, so I've got these microwaveable pouches instead. This is the first time I'll be using the iPhone to do these videos, and I'll be using iMovie to edit it using a bit of new technology, so we'll see how this works. But hopefully I shall be able to edit it in to all these other things and show you the chopping parts of it, show you the cooking parts of it. That's showing integration of new technology into my lessons, so my Cert Ed teacher Julia would be very proud of me. So hopefully if this works, it will go straight into the next bit, showing me chopping some of the ingredients and stirring things and everything else. But hopefully, fingers crossed, this works. Thank you. Fry the beef, bacon, red onions and garlic for about 5 minutes or until the beef is no longer raw. Add the curry paste, the spice blend, the Biryani Spice blend, or either 1 tablespoon of ground coriander, 1 tablespoon of ground cumin, and just stir that in. Cook that for about 3 to 4 minutes, or until the beef is really nice and browned and the spices are toasted. You should be able to smell it at this point. Now add all your other ingredients. So add your tinned chopped tomatoes, that goes in. Add your drained tinned vegetables, that goes in now as well. You add your diced rutabaga, or swede, as we call it. Americans call it rutabaga, like that. You're going to add your nice handful of fresh coriander. That all your ingredients go in now, really. You can, if you want, save a little pinch of coriander for garnish on top. You don't have to, but I'm doing it to make it look pretty. And then you're going to add 300 millilitres of either boiling water or boiling stock. You could use vegetable or beef stock. That's going to go in. So now you put that on a low heat, and that's going to simmer for 30 minutes. Just before serving, give your curry a nice old stir and just check seasoning to taste. So check that you're happy with the level of salt, sugar and pepper. I'm happy with that. I'm going to have a pinch of sugar. Just give that a stir. It's definitely salty enough because you've got the bacon, you've got the beef, you've got stock if you've used it. And yeah, and that's ready for plating. And now to plating. So I'm just going to put, as I say, I've got some sticky jasmine rice because, like I said at the beginning of the video, that's all I could get at the time. But you can use normal rice, or you can use chips, or you can use couscous or anything like that. But this rice is what I'm using today. That'll be enough. And get my curry. Load a nice bit of curry. This feeds 4, so or can feed more or less depending on if you're feeding children or depending on your appetite, which my students know is quite big, but there we go. Like that, maybe a bit more. Maybe a bit more. I shan't be stingy on myself. There we go. And as an optional thing, add a bit of fresh coriander on top as well, just to make it look pretty. And there you go. So that's store cupboard frozen beef curry with rice and a bit of coriander garnish. There you go.